We are live.
Hello.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Steam Queens live stream podcast, etc. This month, we are discussing steamy summer reads. It's obviously summertime. A lot of us are about to go on our summer holidays. And so it's the perfect time to start delving into some steamy summer reads. So let us just introduce ourselves very quickly in case this is your first time on here. My name is Megan Beth Davies. I am a romance, fantasy, historical fiction writer and a bookstagrammer on Instagram and one of the Steam Queens here. Pass it over to you, Esme.
Hi guys, I'm Esme Carmichael. I am a writer of dark fantasy, but I love all sorts of books, including romance, horror, historical fiction. I love everything, really. So yes, that's pretty much it from me. On to you, Kier.
Hi, I'm Kirsty. Most people call me Kier because otherwise my name gets slaughtered. I am a fantasy, romance, sometimes thriller writer, depending on my mood. And I read all of the above and pretty much anything else I can get my hands on. But lately, I've been really into like easy, steamy, fun reads.
Seems to be a theme at the moment. We all seem to be just wanting smutty, easy reads.
That's you, Charlie.
Sorry, yeah, my turn. Sorry. I'm Charlotte Murphy, aka Charlie Author. I'm a romance /YA /dark fantasy /paranormal writer. I published 5 books at the moment that consist of those different genres. I'm a mama to this little dragon called Daenerys, who is misbehaving right now. And I like to read all the genres that I write, as well as a bit of crime and thriller as well. I think I like that. It makes you feel like you're in a true crime Netflix show. So I really like that. But yeah, that's it for me.
And if you want to follow us, you can see all of our handles at the bottom here. Just a quick shout out to Kim, who couldn't be with us tonight, but is also one of our regular hosts as well. So we are talking today about summer reads. I thought we could kick this off by talking about our favourite, whether it's a recent summer read we've had or one of our go-tos that we go to every summer. Kind of what's your favourite one? I'm just going to mute myself because I can hear my dog getting ready to start a barking fit very soon. So I'll pass this over to one of you to start.
So I'll kick off by saying that although I read and love all genres, I really struggle with summer reads. And I can't put a finger on what exactly is why I'm so picky with summer reads. So most of my summer reads kind of venture into other genres. So for example, I think when I hear the term summer reads, I just automatically think, very easygoing, very beach ready, the books which you'd pick up on holiday and just devour on the beach. So that's what I really think about summer reads. Whereas for me, summer reads are dark fantasy, it's horror, it's all the sort of monster smut which I keep on loving all the way through the year. And I think it's because they're my favorite genres and I just find them so easy to read. So a lot of the favorite summer reads which I've been having are coincidentally monster smut. So particularly Tiffany Roberts, I'm still loving her. But also last year, a big sort of shout out book for me was actually the Akotar series, because that was the first time I read it. And I read it in was May, so kind of like early summer. And I again devoured that in a week. Like I could not help myself. I absolutely loved it. And yeah, maybe, Akotar is massive, probably not a summer read, but it's just those sorts of easy reads which you can just come to again and again and again. So yeah, that's what my take on summer reads.
That's a really good point, Esme. Oh, sorry, carry on, Kier.
No, I'm with you. So it's funny, we said summer reads, and when I think of summer reads, I think of the books you find with people on the beach when you're in an airport bookstore. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I don't read those.
Yeah. I
Like
find
that.
I have almost a prejudice for them, if that makes sense. So it's
I don't
like they feel like lounge books. Yeah.
But we all tend to, I think it looks like we all pretty much lean fantasy too. So I think that part of that pops up in it. Whereas if they're just like falling in love on the boardwalk, I'm bored. Someone needs to be getting killed or stalked.
Yeah.
There needs to be some kind of fae or a werewolf running around or witches. And I found this last couple summers, I did want the easier, like, I want to say summer style that weren't necessarily what people would think of as what I'm seeing all over Bookstagram as summer reads.
Yeah.
One that I do lean on is Nora Roberts. She does, I don't read a lot of her like standalone books, but she specifically does like paranormal trilogies where it'll be like more fantastical elements and it's a group of people and they're a little bit formulaic, easy reading, but she's a good writer. And so it has all the elements and it's really easy and I can fly through them because there's not hugely, like none of the main characters are going to die at the end of a Nora Roberts trilogy. It's just not going to happen. So for me, that's easy reading. Like none of you guys are going to die. All right. Probably this will be happy at the end. So I've been rereading some of them. And then, I don't know, I'm reading Kingdom of Ash right now, so I don't think you could call that a summer read.
You know what? That was gonna be my answer. Like I usually reread Throne of Glass during the summer.
Nice.
Like I have done for the last 4 summers.
The rereads are great for summer. What's funny, I think what you were saying, Esme, about you go to all your favorite books, dark fantasy, etc. But some people, so my mum has a very interesting take on summer reading, which is you get your teeth stuck into the really heavy books on a summer holiday because you have the time to do them justice. So she was like recommending Where the Crawdads Sing to me as a summer read, because she was like, you'll have all day on the beach just to really get stuck into it and really like, get into the book. And that's the kind of book that you need. That. And I'm like, that is not a summer read to me.
My family's too high maintenance on holiday for that. I need something I don't have to pay attention to.
Exactly. I want something that I can binge in a day, which is why the book we're going to talk about next was so great, because something that's binge worthy, again, like Kotar is very binge worthy, something you can really get your teeth stuck into. It doesn't matter if it's actually based in summer. I would call almost IPB, Ice Planet Barbarians, a summer reads, because they're binge worthy, they're romantic, they're smutty, they're fun, even though they're set obviously in an
ice planet.
Yeah, they're still a summer read in my mind. Yeah.
No, it's just the carefree element that makes a summer read a summer read. And whatever you find carefree, so for Esme it might be dark fantasy. If you've gone through about 10 dark fantasies in 10 days, then those were your summer reads. It doesn't really, change that much. It's just what's palatable for you at that time, I think, which is quite fun.
True, but there is a certain element of, is this an appropriate book to read in public, i.e. on a beach? For example, like I was reading The Woman in Black by Susan Hill on a beach once, and the ending is soul-crushingly sad, and I was there sobbing, actually sobbing my heart out on this beach, to the point where people were looking at me. That's how much I was sobbing at this book. And I thought, like, that's probably not the best shout to read.
I thought you meant appropriate as in like the cover. Like, is it like one of those kind of sexy cover books where the man's topless and the woman's like in his arms, like that?
I feel like the place I'd be most comfortable reading that though would be the beach. I'd be like, you guys don't freak.
That's what I was going to say.
I'm going to do it anyway.
That's like
I've gone over the cover thing now. I don't care.
No, exactly. Judge me if you want, people. I don't give a damn.
I'm on holiday.
Exactly. You're never going to see me again. I don't care.
Oh, come on.
But there are a whole genre of summer reads, aren't they, that are about people on vacation. And it's a weird concept, isn't it? That people like to go on vacation and read about other people on vacation. I find that an odd concept.
But isn't that like Christmas reads? Like it's Christmas.
Yeah, it
time.
is.
You want to read about?
But that's different because you're like getting yourself into the spirit of Christmas. For some reason,
Yeah.
that feels different to me than getting yourself into like just like the spirit of being on a beach. I don't know. It just doesn't. It's not the same.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
mean,
I'd rather run off to like
yeah.
Akatar land.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in terms of summer reads, as in specific on the beach style books, I don't think I've ever found one of my own accord. I find they're books that you're recommended or told about or has popped up on social media. So it's like, okay, here's an airy fairy light book that I'm going to read. But I think I said it earlier in the sense of not judging them because, you know, all books have credence or credibility wherever, you know, for people who read them, but they're not, for me anyway, like considered real books, if that makes sense. They're just like on the shelf in the post office or like, as you said, in the airport lounge. I'm like, who writes them? Who reads them? Until somebody recommends it and then, oh, that was fun. But I don't.
Are there books in the shelf at the post office?
Over here, yeah, there's like, you know, the little tall columns, the plimps that spin. And you'll just have random books in them. They're usually like historical war romances for some reason.
Yeah, they're always
and
they're like they're one step away from like they're Walmart books basically. Would you call them the same as like the books you get in Walmart? Exactly the same.
Yeah, and they'll be like $1.99 or $99.
I love new phenomena.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
like, wait, what?
But it's like, because of maybe coming from a writer perspective as well, I do have this like, okay, who is publishing them? In the sense of you queried this and went to who, and then you're just churning them out. Who picks this?
It's a bit like Mills and Boon, but it's not Mills and Boon.
Yeah, Mills and Boons,
like
I
Hallmark
get.
Movies.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. They're Hallmark movies in books, and I'm just like,
Yes.
who's doing it? But the thing is, with Mills and Boon, those I get. It's, you know, it's a whole publishing house. It's Harlequin romance. It's specific. We churn out 100 books a week. That's fine. I'm here for that. But it's when it's like, as you said, I'm on vacation and then I don't know, a swamp man appeared. Who wrote this? I just don't get it.
I want that to be a real book now.
I feel like that would be my kind of summer book, though. Like I haven't found that particular genre of swamp man, and I feel like we're missing it.
We are. Someone's gonna do it now.
Genre right now.
100%. I think I'm going to go on to my killer vacation because I think that's a really nice segue into the fact that my killer vacation wasn't just a summer romance. It was that romance suspense, which I think gave it that edge and didn't make it feel like she was just a woman on holiday hooking up with a random guy. You know, it had a lot more to it than they had real arcs as well that they were leaning into and the whole suspense was feeding into. I mean, the suspense part was fairly
weak.
That's what drew me in. I mean, you have to. There's to be in the two books that we were like back and forth between that we did the both were because they had something that were like, all right, let's set them out. One being book lovers, and that's just if you stick people who love books in the book, you're just like aiming at us.
Yeah.
Targeted. So I mean, I was in. I'm still gonna read that. But my killer vacation, I was like, this doesn't sound like it's gonna be boring.
Yeah, it was a little bit different. I was intrigued.
Which is terrible. I'm terrible.
Yeah. I mean, generally, are we just talking about enjoying it or not? Are we going there?
Yeah, we can talk about whatever we want about it. Enjoying it, not enjoying it. Yeah.
No, I really did enjoy it. I think you touched on the fact that, you know, the killer part, the you know, the murder, the mystery, it wasn't the greatest. It wasn't, you know, particularly like, you know, nail biting who is the killer or anything like that. But it was sufficient enough to be the background music to the main dance of the romance. It was, you know, the first kind of the opening chapters or whatever, and discovering the body and, you know, the peephole things. It was genuinely like, whoa, where is this going? You know, the wrap up at the end could have been, you know, possibly a little better, but it didn't take anything away from it because the focus was obviously Miles and Taylor, and I'm just obsessed with Miles. Like I just keep screaming in comments, I love Miles. I just love him so much.
As I was reading it, I was like, Charlie is going to be loving this guy so much because he was literally Mama. Like literally, all like a picture was Mama.
I can only picture it like Jason Mama over.
That's literally like a picture as well.
the
Because
motorbike.
I'm not a big Momoa fan in terms of like his looks. I was trying to picture something else, but I couldn't. I could only
I
picture.
You're not allowed.
His like eyes up freak me out for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Oh, when he
But,
raises
like,
his
I was
eyebrow.
thinking him with a different face.
Poor old Momoa.
You know, just all the physique, just a different face. No, he was 100% Momoa to me.
So, like,
What's that awful saying? Hide the face, fuck the base, or whatever it is.
well, he's got those eyes that look like somebody sharpied him on. Like the you know what I'm talking about?
His eyebrows though, like he's got like a slit in his eyebrow.
Yeah,
Sorry,
with-
I'll make this the Momoa show. I'll stop.
Like
Yeah, he looks angry all the time, but I love it.
like a
That's why I
caricature
love
of it.
Yeah, no, I think he just looks gruff, and Miles was very just gruff.
was
But as
plain,
would you
yeah.
say? But he was a cinnamon roll. Like he had layers. I like the fact that he was older. You know, he's a divorcee, so it wasn't like I'm not completely tainted by love. I know how to be in a relationship. This one just didn't particularly work out. You know, it was a lot more realistic, and I know it's contemporary, but it was a lot more realistic, even though it was insta love. I don't know. It was just a good one all round.
I didn't think it was insta love though, because I was reading some of the reviews from the book, and some people hated it because there was one really funny review. It was like a 1-star review. The person just couldn't get past the fact that he was thinking about having sex with her as soon as he saw her.
All
Come
right,
on, he's a guy. He's bumped into a hot girl. She's wearing a bikini top and a pair of short shorts.
Yeah.
Your mind's going to go there. Your mind's going to think, oh,
Yeah.
she's pretty hot. She's going to think, oh, he's pretty hot. She might think about what would he be like in bed.
That's never happened to you? No?
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
just, like, it was insta lust, and that's very normal. There was no insta love into it because they didn't like fancy each other really. They just both looked at each other and thought,
fighting to not have feelings for her.
Yeah,
literally
exactly.
the point.
No, that's a bit weird for someone to say. Like, as I said, you don't see people and just, you know, think, oh, I'd have a bit of that. Do you know what I mean? I think there's like a sound bite, you know, like a meme thing, and it says, you know, if you're boring, just say that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if this shit never happens to you, just admit it. Like, no,
I don't know how to talk to you.
Yeah, I don't know how to talk to you. You don't know how to have fun. Like, I remember in obviously my younger days and dating and just going to parties and you're all dressed up and there's some hot guy on the dance floor or across the bar. You don't want to talk to him. You don't want to say anything, but you would smash the shit out of him. Like, that's it. That's all it is. You're never going to see this person again. But yes, in that split second,
it's insta lust. Exactly. And that's why it felt natural for me when he was looking at her being like, oh, she's sexy, she's hot, and imagining all those things. That didn't feel weird at all. Like, there was very much a physical attraction, and I liked how they carried that through into her. She wasn't falling in love with him at that point, but she wanted to explore that physical attraction with him, and she felt safe enough that she could ask certain things of him. Again, it's like a holiday romance. She could find out certain things about herself with him without the fear of judgment or even having to worry about seeing him again. She could just explore that. And that felt real as well, if I'm honest. That felt, you know, maybe the way they were talking about it was a bit fast, but then, you know, there's that thing that she'll never see him again.
Jump
so
right
why
in
not?
Conversation.
Yeah.
What happens in Vegas? Exactly. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, basically.
Like, I feel like that's. I mean, hey, I'm over here married, whatever. But I feel like for a vacation romance, that's like on par. Like, well,
yeah,
that's what it should have been.
It's vacation romances are selfish, I think, because you're not going to probably ever see this person again. So you're going to take from it what you want to take from it. You're not going to fall in love with them and, you know, build a life with them and do nice things for them and think considerately about them. You're going to take, and she does. She wants to explore a certain attraction and she wants to explore certain desires that she doesn't feel comfortable exploring at home with people that maybe she meets at work or on dating apps, and could potentially bump into them again in her hometown. And that's why it works between them, because they kind of like let themselves go and figure out that actually that's what they were looking for.
That's what they wanted all along. Like, what I quite liked about Taylor's, I guess, her arc and her thought process as well, was the, you know, just the kind of acknowledgement that she'd been doing it wrong. well, wrong being a loose word, but being able to reflect and say, if I'm putting out teacher vibes, then I'm only ever going to get people who see me as a sweet teacher and are not going to blow my back out kind of thing. So I liked, as I said, that touch on reality, that the woman didn't think she was perfect. Sometimes you can have well, he's wrong and he needs to do this and blah 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 blah, but she had her own flaws and she acknowledged them, and she was like, cool, I need to be a bit sexy, I can do this. And I liked it about her. And I think from other reviews I've done, you guys might recognize that I don't particularly like the kind of weak-willed, no spine female character. Like, she doesn't always have to have a sword or a million powers or anything like that, but just a bit more oomph in your personality. If they don't have that, it kind of gets on my nerves. So initially, Taylor being that kind of quieter person, it didn't annoy me as much as it could have done, because she was able to build on that and just be a lot more entertaining. Yeah, exactly.
Dimensional, yeah.
She was willing to change rather than expecting everybody to change to suit her.
Yes,
exactly.
100%.
Yeah, and here's the thing, she never put that on him. Like,
No.
all his internalizing of like, should I stay with her? Should I be with her? Should I whatever? She's like, I want to try to solve a murder. You're really hot. This isn't going anywhere. That's on me. Like, I felt like the disparagement of like, he's having relationship struggles and she's not really, she really likes him, but she doesn't have any expectations. She took him at his word, and now she's focused on her and what she's gonna do.
Yeah. There was actually the scene, so it's after they sleep together and he's like, she gets up to go somewhere or wherever it is, and he's his inner thinking is like, what did I do? Where did she go? Like, why is she doing this? She's following your lead, or like, she's doing what you both agreed to do. And it was nice that he was the one that was thinking, oh no, like, I want her to come back, as opposed to the flip reverse, where it's usually the girl that's like, where's he gone? I want him to come back. Which is really good.
Like, their back and forth felt real to me. Like, it didn't feel like forced. I hate the forced misunderstanding. You know what I mean? Like, something happened that they misunderstood and then had to have explained to them later that would fix everything. Like, it was genuinely kind of what two very different people having a vacation relationship would go through.
Yeah,
definitely.
Completely agree.
It felt natural. Oh, how did we feel about the red panties? When I first read that he took them, I was like, oh. Okay.
See, it should have been weird. It should have been weird, but it
should have been weird.
But it wasn't. I don't know. The author did such a good job, for me at least, at things that usually I would hate in certain romances. Like, even the following her home parts. Usually I would just hate that because I feel like it was a bit stalkery, a bit intense, kind of. But I just feel like she did such a good job with the internal monologue and character motivations that even when she did the kind of weird stuff, it still worked. It still felt like flawed people just doing stuff but you didn't kind of turn against them as a character.
Yeah, she definitely leaned into I feel like, what's that term we hate? Alpha hole.
Yes.
The alpha hole tendency, but you were so in his head that it all kind of was like, oh, well, he's cute.
Yeah, because you knew he wasn't actually an alpha hole. Yeah.
Like, oh.
Maybe it's because they weren't used, I think. Like, he was just teasing her by taking them.
Sniffing them.
No, that's what I mean. But it's like, if it had been something she wore and then he took it, I would have been a bit like, But because it was just the panties, I did think that was kind of cute. Like, he just had.
He was having this possessiveness that he didn't understand.
And it wasn't like, I want your panties. It was like, I'm gonna take these so you can't use them with anybody else.
Exactly. It's like, I want them to. I want you to use them with me, and he didn't even realize at that moment that that's what he was feeling, which I thought was kind of cute. Like, he was clueless.
And
he was a big bumbling.
There's a whole passage where he's like, why did I take her under?
Yeah, why did I?
Exactly. He's really what the hell? This is not me at all.
No, it was 100% sweet. I love so many of the laugh out loud moments mostly came from him for me. I liked when they first met, and I think Kim might have put the quote up, or someone did, but he calls her half pint because she's short, and then she's like, I have a name, and then he says, well, come back here and tell it to me. I was like, okay. I was like, okay. If you want.
His responses were like,
his responses were good. Or when the guy, the mayor's assistant or something, was like looking at her, and he looked at her across, he looked at him across her head or over her head, and he was like, walk away.
He mouthed fuck off, and then she saw it in the sunglasses, didn't she?
I'm like, and then her calling him on it and being like, I could see it in your sunglasses.
Yeah.
That was.
I'm so sorry if I'm screeching in your ears, but I promise you, I laughed out like.
I don't know what's funny, Charlie laughing, or little Day just sitting there like.
It's so funny.
Just loving it.
The other bit that I was screaming at, like, it was just at the end when he was all embarrassed, I think, about proposing or whatever. No, it might have been before that, but he said to someone, be it, or walk away.
I think his brother comes in and she's in her underwear, isn't she? Because she's like, oh, sexy time. And he's like, no, there's like loads of people waiting.
Oh gosh, it was genuine moments. I was grinning at my phone.
Yeah.
It was sweet. It was sweet as hell.
The way that Taylor's brain works really good too, because they were completely different, but both really fun. And I felt not even what she said. Whenever we were in Taylor's head, I found myself like snorting. You're like, well, I was laying there and I'm scratching. You ever read and scratch your husband's back? I do all the time. Yeah. So I'm laying there and I'm like reading. I'm scratching my husband's back, and he has no idea what I'm reading. So this is
this is random.
And I'm like snorting, and he's like, "What is happening?" And what happened was that I just read the line about she was like, she's thinking, and she's like, they're gonna come looking for me in like 3 hours while I'm sitting here trying to get my fingers to vibrate.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. That was hilarious.
Oh, obviously this is Steam Queen, so that was a nice segue into, obviously she's running to go and get the vibrator because she hasn't been able to, have her release or whatever. And then the whole against the car parking lot business.
That scene was
what?
That's the only thing.
That scene was crazy. That scene was actually crazy.
Dude, the amount of
in the church as well.
Church. Oh my god, I forgot about the church.
So the church wasn't like as crazy as the car scene. So like literally out in the open, anyone could have like snuck up on them.
People, literally,
that was crazy.
Going on about it's a big holiday place. There's renters everywhere. Well, no one has sex.
Never been to a beach town. It's crowded.
So many people
everywhere.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, no, the car scene thing. I was like, is this what we're doing today? Okay. What it reminded me of, but less sinister, was what's the Emily McIntyre with the gun? Wretched.
Oh, the Wretched. I haven't read that one yet.
Oh, but not read Wretched yet. Well, I won't spoil that, but there's an outside. There's a voyeuristic display thing and a gun. That's all I'm saying.
I read some of the like her reels. I've seen some of her reels that allude to what it is.
Yeah. Definitely read that one because that's messy. It's a messy time. It's messy like this baby. Look at this drool.
I will say, if we're talking Steam too, that I am not always because you have to be really good at writing dirty talk to make that work. Just like you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a certain skill that comes with anything having to do. And at very, very few points ever in this book was I like, ooh, like too much talk, or like she did that well.
Yeah, she did that very well.
So that was actually a really big plus for me, because I'm always a bit like that with dirty talk. Like I would say literally like 9 out of 10 times I would just find it cringy. And this was the rare time where it worked, and it worked really well.
No, I did really like it. It didn't feel out of place too much. I think the only time I did feel a bit was just probably the first time, because realizing he was a bit older and divorced, I didn't expect him to speak that way. Like, I thought it would just be a bit more, I don't know,
The only
I
one was
didn't
when he
expect
called
it.
himself Daddy.
I was
When he
just
said
thinking
Daddy,
Yeah,
I didn't like that.
person who
There was
enjoys
something-
that.
I just thought that was a bit weird. But
I
once
don't
got
think she
used
enjoyed
to,
that either. I just had
I'm
a
glad
feeling
that
that she
did
didn't enjoy
because
that.
he was kind of like, oh, yeah, I thought you might like that. And then he never does it again. I'm like, okay.
No.
yeah, he didn't say
It
it
was
again.
like the
which was
author
all right.
decided that she didn't like that either and just kind of
Please don't become daddy. I have to put the book down.
Yeah. It's a bit
I
weird.
did worry when that happened a little bit, but then it got much better after that.
Yeah, once I got used to Miles, it was fine. As in,
But
okay,
then-
this is just him.
But I think that's
Miles
why it
can do no
worked.
wrong for you.
Sorry?
Huh?
I said Miles can do no wrong for you, Charlie. I know.
I know.
Well, I think that's why the dirty talk worked, because of his inner monologue. It wasn't just him saying dirty talk. You heard all of his thought process in between the dirty talk, where it was like he was like in awe of her, and he was like thinking he's got to be gentle while rough and all this kind of stuff. And so when he did talk dirty, that's why I think it worked so well, because it wasn't weird or cringy. He was like trying to kind of give her what she wanted. So and enjoying.
Well, often dirty talk is derogatory, and his was for her. It was to give her something on top of what he was giving her.
Yeah,
he liked her enough
Giving her.
that if she hadn't have wanted it like that, he would have made love to her. Basically, he would have done. Basically, he liked her so much, whether he realized it at the time or not. He would have done it exactly how she wanted to do it, which was that's why he was so sweet. It was just all for her. I love Miles as well.
I love Miles as well. I think that's definitely one of our, our consistent things that we like in male characters, and when they're getting their sexy time on. That what was it? He's a bad boy, just not to her. Like she's just the one person that brings out this niceness in him, and I think everyone loves that. I mean, speaking from experience, really, like my boyfriend, like you guys have seen him, like he's a bigger guy kind of thing. So when we're out, or when we first met, and what's the word I'm looking for? Environments that we met each other in. He's one way with certain people, but I know he's not like that at home, and it's nice. it's nice. I was like,
makes you feel special.
It does. Like when I see him doing certain things, I'm like, ooh, you sexy. And then he comes home and is just like, I don't know, play Monopoly with me or something. I don't know, just doing really mundane shit. Like it's nice. It's nice.
Does anyone else get inordinately turned on when their husband does the dishes without them asking?
It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. You know what? And you just did them. And you know what? And I will say this, I think Care will get this without being completely inappropriate. Seeing your partner as a dad is also very sexy. Yeah. Seeing your partner with your child is a whole other level of eroticism. You guys have that in store. Like seeing him play with them and just being a dad and just nurturing, and you're just thinking, ooh, it's very nice. I promise you.
It is.
It's very nice.
Every once in a while I'll turn around, he throws her in the air, and I'm like,
yeah, throw me, daddy, throw me.
Maybe we need to have a month where we read like a single dad romance.
Dad one. Yeah, those are good.
Or even
very niche.
But then no one calls themselves daddy.
Yeah.
That's
daddy
just
book. No,
that's just weird.
Like dad to children.
Yeah, to children. And it's an extra thing as well, because we've got daughters. So like seeing dads and their daughters is just really, really, it's a really sweet thing.
Yeah, definitely.
I think she's asleep now. But yeah, go on.
So should we completely distracted by the tiny baby that is adorable?
Should we talk about our favorite trope in this book, which was the grumpy sunshine trope, and why we loved it, or if anyone didn't like it in here, why we don't like it? But I think all of us are probably a big fan of Grumpy Sunshine.
100%. And I think, again, as I said, we've been singing Miles's praises this whole time, but I think because we had his inner thoughts, because we had his monologues, it made it funnier and more acceptable, because in his head he's like, I love her, but then out loud he'd be like, shut up.
I'm gonna yell. Like, why are you doing this? I don't know.
Exactly. He was just being mean to her outwardly, but inside we know he's shitting it because he just loves her so
He
much.
reminds me of the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. You know when he's
Yeah.
like, "Come down to dinner," and really
Yeah.
he's just like nervous because he wants her to come and spend time with him, but
Yeah, I
he
feel
doesn't
like
know how to
he's
say
Yeah.
it.
Mr. Darcy, like the whole like what you're feeling inside is not computing outside.
Yeah.
You
But
have
No.
you have
so
to have
deep
both.
in his head. Like I
You
always
have
feel
to have
like
inner
we were
monologue for
deeper in
grumpy
his head than we
sunshine.
were in hers.
Yeah, agreed.
Definitely. I think what worked as well is again, I think with the weak kind of female character sometimes, even though she was the sunshine, she wasn't like reduced to tears as soon as he said something a bit aggressive kind of thing. She, you know, she was just as happy and threw it back and was like, fine, be moody if you want, but you're gonna come eat these tacos or what? Like, do you know what I mean? She
Except when he
was
insulted
able
her,
to
See, I found that actually a weird part of her personality though, because like the author she said, the character said in the book, like, I cried everything. But then there were so many points at which he did and said stuff. And she just didn't cry. So I was like,
yeah.
I thought you cried at everything.
When he
Not
called
everything.
us, when he called us Shaquille.
Yeah, I know. She got really annoyed.
She cried at that, but he's basically saying she loves her, and she's like,
yeah, I don't know. So maybe it was just because of him, or I don't know. But I found that quite funny because she was like, there were things that I would have cried at when he was like shouting at me. I'd be like, you're being mean.
You know what? I think it might play to her arc though, because at that point, if I remember rightly enough, she was at that, oh, I want to be different. I'm brave. I'm solving a crime. I'm doing this. So maybe she was like, yeah, I may have cried once upon a time, but I'm a bad bitch that solves crime with this bounty hunter. So I'm not going to cry anymore. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's going to be my excuse.
During when I would have expected her to cry, I remember distinctly the scene where, like later in the book, where they just had like massive amounts of sex and then she like wanders off.
Yeah.
And she's trying so hard to like not make it harder because they agreed. So she's walking up and you can tell she's like fighting back what she would normally do, which would turn into a crying mess and being like, nope, that's not what we're doing.
In it, put your big girl panties back on. Yeah.
the red big girl panties.
The red big girl panties. But no, it just worked so well without being, I mean, can something be too fluffy? Something can be too fluffy.
It can be, but this was done well. This was
that's what I mean. I was going to say it was done well without being too fluffy. It had all the fluff, but it just didn't feel silly. It didn't feel unrealistic.
That's when
it didn't feel unrealistic or anything.
That's where I think the romance suspense helped, because I think it took away from that fluffiness. Yeah.
And it's also like fluffy is fine. Like sometimes, like fluffy is fine. I'm down for some fluffy sometimes. Like that's one of the reasons I was saying about Nora Roberts trilogies. They're formulaic, but you know what? The plot is still there. The characterization is still there. You still go on a journey with them, and then all the fluff, you can enjoy it because you're not busy being pissed off at a lack of plot.
Yeah.
It still has to be a plot. If you write fluff for fluff's sake, people like that. I don't.
Yeah, personally.
I mean, I think it depends on the fluff. So, like, I'm just thinking about the discussion we had last time about Law and Lust, which is 100% fluff and very little plot. But I kind of get that. I don't know. I mean, it's still something which I really like. And I know for me, like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, there's fluff which I'm invested in, and there's fluff that makes me want to throw up. You know? Like, and they're very distinct in what they are, and I can't even pinpoint what the differences are at the moment, but I know when I read them. So I think you can have a book which just 100% fluff, but it has to be done realistically, I think, rather than just being up in the sky, anything can happen, that sort of thing. That's the fluff which just doesn't vibe with me.
Doesn't fly.
I mean, it's all about the characters too. Like,
that's what I was gonna say.
So I've read a lot of like paranormal urban fantasy. That's what I was before I found like Bookstagram and BookTok and found like Sarah J. Maas, and like I didn't even know any of this was here. I was over in the section of the bookstore. I didn't know.
Love it.
And I'm trying to catch up. But there is a book series called the Kate Daniel series. I don't know if
not heard of it.
Read it's an urban fantasy, solid. Highly recommend. Slow burn at the beginning, so not a lot right up front, but really just really, really solid. And it's over. It's through. It was a long one. It was like 12 books, but they're not super long. They're smaller. But occasionally now, the authors will put out a text message short story between the two main characters, where it'll literally just be them like texting back and forth.
Oh, that's cute.
That's very cool.
And because those characters are like embedded in my existence,
yeah,
I see one and I'm texting my mom and I'm texting my sister and we're on and we're reading it and like nothing happens. They're literally just talking.
They're just talking.
What's happening in their life and doing their banter.
Yeah.
And I'm like a puddle of goo.
And that's why romance is so hard to write. People think romance is easy because you just have a few nice things said, you have them bang, and then happily ever after.
Bang.
If you can't get people invested in the characters, like you can't build a character like Miles and Taylor. Like, let's be honest, the plot was shaky, but like that was a 4 or 5 star book for me because it was just the best romance. I just loved it.
Yes.
So actually, that's all that matters.
One day, they couldn't put it down.
Yeah. No. It was good. I'm sorry, adding on to what Kay was saying, it is about characters because I think that's what was missing for me from Law and Lust, going with what Ezzy said. Because minimal plot or bit convoluted plot, whichever way we were talking about it. But because I wasn't particularly invested in the chemistry between the two mains, I wasn't able to just be focused on the romance despite nothing else happening, kind of thing. So I mean, we recently Ezzy and I read Year of the Reaper. The name of the author loses me. Not a great book, very meh, nothing happens. Solid 2, I think I gave it. The book's just not great. However, it's one little shining light that kept me turning the page, at least, was just this cute little romance that was just kind of thrown in. It was the one bit that she did relatively okay because I liked the main character and I liked the fact that he had a crush on this girl. So I think I fixated on that because everything else was so dull, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So as much as you like, as soon as you like the characters, you will stick with it. Sorry, Kate?
No, I was saying at least that was a part that you liked, and at least they were able to write that aspect of it, as opposed to that we just read that was like,
which one?
Awful.
Which one? Wait, hold on.
Magic ripoff.
Wild and Wicked Things.
Wild and Wicked Things.
Wild and Wicked Things.
Yeah, that was terrible. That was terrible
because I didn't like the characters. They all sucked. Oh.
They did. Like, and it was. Without digressing, because, well, you know what? The Grump and Sunshine trope is kind of in Wild and Wicked Things because what was her name? Emmeline, sorry. Emmeline was the Grump, whereas Amy? Was it Amy? I feel like it's Amy. Was the Sunshine.
I don't remember her name.
I know it's something with A, but Emmeline was the Grump, the witch one, and then Amy was the Sunshine in the sense of I don't know anything about magic. I want to, learn about magic. I'm so invested in you because you know dark magic. Annie, that's it, not Amy. So yeah, they had that kind of trope, but it just didn't work because it was almost as though Emmeline's Grump, if we're looking at Dark Clouds, she was literally able to cover her Sunshine. Like by the end of it, Annie wasn't Sunshine anymore. She was just as grumpy. And it was like, that doesn't work.
Yeah, like, Sunshine's supposed to win out.
Yes, Sunshine would make everybody sunny. And it's like she just made her just as moody. And I was like, get the fuck out of her. Like, it was meant to be this joining sapphic witch, awesome, gothic, dark thing. And it just wasn't. Wasn't.
I wouldn't even call Annie Sunshine, though. She was just a cardboard box, honestly.
Yeah, she was boring. That's
the best description of her I've ever heard.
She was very 2D. Very 2D. She was dry.
I see. I love the Grump and Sunshine trope when the Grump is the girl and the Sunshine is the guy.
So that's in Wretched.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, I need to read that then.
I haven't read.
I need to read that,
and I feel like I maybe should, but I'm not usually a big fan of the Mafia.
Oh no, it's good. Kier, promise you it's good. They're so worth it. Ignore the fact it's a bit mafia-y because I've read a few Mafia ones that they're a bit whatever. No, it's really good. Yeah.
No,
100%
Emily has a
recommend.
talent. She's definitely found her
does.
lane in, you know,
I
how
feel like
she
we could
writes
do a whole
things.
episode on Emily McIntyre, to be honest.
Totally could. Totally
And then
could.
I'll read
We
them
should.
then.
Yeah, there's literally only 3, so jump on the train now. Because the next one is what? Twisted? I think it's Aladdin. Is it Aladdin?
Yes,
Yeah,
because
I
it's
think
the whole
it's-
Diamond in the Rough.
Sorry,
Yeah.
nothing
Yes,
that reminds me of any Disney thing.
yeah. Dark Tales. Ooh. Sorry, what was that?
No, I said how much is the like Disney influence there? Because
Oh, it's really loose. It's really loose. So it links, as in,
Oh, it's like Easter eggs.
yeah, they're Easter eggs. They're fun, but it's not the story or anything like
Yeah.
that. It's, you know, it's not as obvious.
It's
You
not
know,
a
it's quite
retelling.
subtle and it's quite nice. No, not at all.
Really
It's just using it as inspo,
No, not at all.
using same-ish names. But no, it's really good. As I said, there's only 3, so jump on. She's really good. Really good.
Just for what the example,
But
which
if you like the
literally
Grumpy
always.
Sunshine.
Oh, what you say is?
As
Oh, sorry,
Sorry.
carry on. I've got a lag.
Sorry, I was just saying the one of the things which really gets me about Emily McIntyre's books is that the signs or the the tells to Disney are just so subtle, and they take you a while to even realize they're there. For example, in Hooked, one of the I think it's her dad's PA or something. Her name is Tina Bell, and it took me far too long to realize actually that's Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was good.
They
That
are
was
really
good.
subtle.
I liked in Scarred, the girl's name is Sarah, but her full name is Sarah Fenna or Sarah Fina or something. But basically, it's Mufasa's wife's name from
Sarabi.
The Lion King. So it's like, as I said, she split it, but it was very clever to be like, oh, that's, that. Yes, Sarabi, but it's Sarah B, like her name's something French, like Bertrot or Bordeaux or something. So her initials are Sarah B. Sarabi, which was, things like that. It's really good. It's really good.
I like the subtle.
Yeah.
And don't get me
very
started
subtle.
about Scar in Scarred, because oh my goodness
Tristan.
gracious. Tristan.
Tristan is my favorite still.
My God. It's like Miles on drugs, basically.
Yeah, Miles, but nowhere near as nice.
No, he's not nice. That's the thing.
He's not nice at all.
Niceness from Miles, but you still have the rest.
Yeah. There's no cinnamon roll. There's no redemption. There's no nothing. He's just a bad guy. Just a bad guy.
That's the thing with Emily McIntyre. There's no redemption. That's why it's great.
Okay, now I'll read that.
You need, because a bad character shouldn't have a redemption if he's a real bad character. You need to keep the badness from start to finish.
Exactly.
Team Mason.
But you can still find love. You can still find love.
Exactly.
We've got
if the girl's bad enough.
We've got about 10 minutes left. So should we quickly move on to our best examples of some steamy summer reads that we've read recently, or that we want to read on our holidays? Because I know not all of them.
I would
I've actually got
recommend
some
reading Woman in Black. That was a bad shout.
I'm gonna put some like running along the bottom here, because these are some of the ones that have been like recommended that I've read or that people are saying to read. And I've only read the Unhoneymooners out of this, which I thought was okay. It wasn't amazing, but it was okay. It was, it's an easy summer read, basically.
I will say
I'm about to read my
now. I was going to sound mean. I'm not probably ever going to see it, but I was not intrigued to necessarily read her books, though they were everywhere, because they're the typical summer reads that I don't normally pick up. I just don't.
Sorry, whose books? I missed that.
Tessa Bailey.
Tessa Bailey's.
Had it not been for the killer on her, I might not have actually picked it up and needed something. But now I will go back and read her other stuff, because I know that her writing is super solid.
And that's why recommendations are important, both good and bad, because now I've discovered Tessa Bailey, who I wouldn't have necessarily picked up before, but because I enjoyed my first outing with her, I'll try again, and she'll get another sale from me, and another and another and another. So, I think obviously with Emily McIntyre, that was a Esme recommendation. She was like, these books are amazing. I was like, yeah, I'm straight on it. It just, as long as you get a good one, it's great. But if you get a bad one, you'll never touch that bitch again. Because no.
Did anyone, and I think this is the fantasy reader in me, but did anyone think from the cover of this book that it was a vampire romance?
Yes! So did I.
I really thought My Killer Vacation was going to be a vampire romance one, because he looks like he's biting a neck.
Blood.
There's dripping blood. Yeah.
Yes. It was a bit misleading in that sense. I'm with you
I
on that
don't
one.
normally like these covers, and I liked this one.
Yeah.
I think it's the tattoos.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Oh, somebody said it. I think it might be one of us, actually. It looks like Reese and Feyre kind of fan art because of the, the coppery brown hair and then the tats on Reese and stuff. I was like, oh, interesting. You have, you know what? Get to it when you get to it.
The phonograph glass first.
Yes, you do have. You're almost there. Oh, yes, you're on Kingdom of Ash. Go, girl.
I'm going. So that's my next one. If I had to give, to go off course for a rec, if we're just giving out recs. So for me, like I said, right now I like light, but what I normally do is a lot of series in the summer where I can bang through them. Good, solid reads, not super heavy. And I would say that for me, to lean urban fantasy and go that Kate Daniel series that I talked about, especially if you I don't even know that I would call it Grumpy Sunshine more than grumpy sarcastic sunshine.
Yeah.
Of just it works. So if anyone wants a good solid series of easy reading summer, that would be my rec.
Yeah, 100%. Mine, I haven't read any super summer reads recently. As I said, I don't usually gravitate to them to know enough to tell people. But if you've not started it already, then definitely Ice Planet Barbarians are the ultimate summer reads. They're the funniest, unassumingly, quite deep books. Maybe not deep's the right word, but because each of the different female characters has a different thing she's dealing with, it does give it a bit more credibility than you would assume it's going to be about by the cover or by the title. And you're just able to just peel through them, literally read 2 or 3 of them in a day if you've got nothing to do. When I was pregnant, that was just what I was reading, boom, 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 just every day, because they're just so easy and so fun, and the characters are fun and nice, and you like their couplings, and the Ice Planet dudes are just really sweet, and how they talk, and they're just so funny. So yeah, if you've not started those, people will definitely get involved with those.
I love that series so much. I agree with that.
So
another 2 that I would probably recommend, these are both indie authors actually, so not kind of mainstream authors, is Keeping Score by Ali Marie. That was really good. There's a lot of head hopping in the book. It's the only downside to it, I'd say, but I still gave it 5 stars because I just loved the book. I just really, really enjoyed it. I've read it 2 or 3 times now, so that was great. And then also The Alice Equation by Davina Stone, I think it is, and that's also set in Australia. So I don't know if it's set in the summer, but it's set in Australia, so it felt summery to me, basically.
No.
For Australia and constant sunshine. I could be wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. Anything set in Australia feels like a summer read. So
exactly.
I would definitely recommend those 2.
Nice.
I'm also going to throw in The Love Hypothesis as well by Ali Hazelwood. I really enjoyed that.
Oh,
and
that's
good Grumpy Sunshine to open it.
Nice.
And slightly different, but Law Olympus, which is the webtoon. I love that, and it's so bingeable, and you can get it. It's still going on, so it's not a finished series, but they have I don't even know now. I want to say over 150 episodes, so there's a lot to get through online. But yeah,
you can buy it as well, can't you? In the book,
you can buy it as a book now.
Volumes, yeah.
They're only on volume 2 at the moment, and that only goes up to, I think, I want to say episode 30 or something, and they have
wow, that's crazy.
It's going to be a lot of volumes.
How often does it come out? Because I've heard so much about this thing. Oh, so every week.
Every week, but she has like seasonal breaks in between.
Yeah.
But normally a new episode comes out every week, and you can get a fast pass, I think, and that gets you like 3 episodes into the future, so you can
Oh, okay.
go a little.
No,
go a
I
little
want to
further,
check
yeah.
it out because so many people are obsessed with it, and I'm like, what is this blue and pink thing? Like, I don't get it. What is it?
It's not like that It's not like that Galatea app, is it? Where like literally you read like for like
Millennium
2
Wall.
minutes and then it's like 4 hours waiting.
Yeah.
I had to stop.
6 hours.
Oh, no.
Honestly, it was so much just for them to get to that one scene
And
where
then when
they
you got there, it wasn't
finally.
even good.
It was so
It wasn't
dull.
even good. I was so
dull.
disappointed. This is
So
that Millennium
was I.
Walls thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like they
So
kept promising
dull.
that it was going to be this super bang, and it wasn't a super bang. It was terrible. I was like, what? I waited
do
all these
not
hours
recommend 0 stars.
Well, I want to start Lore Olympus because I feel like I've been let down by every Greek mythology thing I've looked up in the recent, but people seem to love Lore Olympus. And I was obsessed with Greek mythology when I was a kid. Like, I was in. That was my favorite thing. I was the weird kid in the library checking out Greek mythology books when everyone else.
Me too.
Yes.
So much that I did a degree in it.
We found each other.
Finally. Only we found each other when we were those weird little kids in the libraries on opposite side of the world.
Nothing.
Charlie, you were in London. I was in Brighton. Kira was in the US.
New Jersey. And then Esme was in Liverpool. Have you always been in Liverpool, Esme?
I went to Southampton. I went to Southampton for uni. So I was.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Listen, we were just all little girls, just weird little girls with no friends. Just by ourselves.
Took us 30 years to find each other, but finally,
but you know what?
We have friends.
We got there in the end. What was I going to say? What are we doing next month, lady?
Next month,
paranormal, right?
Yeah,
we are doing paranormal, which is very exciting. Cool. I think we've said no vampires though, just because we did do Law and Lust recently. So we're going to do paranormal that isn't vampires.
Yeah, just other paranormal things.
Right? There's a lot that have like multiple.
Yeah, they can be in it, but I don't think the main character should be vamps. I don't think.
Paranormal really encompasses so much, though. It also encompasses you can encompass monster and alien, like everything into it. So we'll do a.
Oh, sorry, we're going to ask for a poll, aren't we?
Yes, we're going to do a poll.
Yeah, because I was just going to say anything, because we've literally just done Monster May, then maybe anything that isn't too monster focused might be a bit better. But yeah, anything paranormal. It could be ghosts and sprites and just anything.
Send us your recs. Send us what you want to make the book club.
Yeah.
Does anyone remember? This is so random, but I've just remembered. Does anyone remember that Meg Cabot series where she was like a ghost hunter or something?
I was obsessed with it.
Yes, The Mediator, I think it was called. And but her boyfriend was like a ghost or something. It was
Meg.
Yes,
she put out a follow-up like last year to that series.
Really?
She did.
I'd never heard of it. I've heard of Meg Cabot though, but
I will message you about it. Yeah, everyone hears Meg Cabot and thinks of what? The Princess Diaries?
Princess Diaries, and she also does some historical romance as well, some like young adult historical romance, which are quite good.
Oh, she jumps genre. Got you.
She does. Oh, she also does. So my friend works for HarperCollins, and Meg Cabot under a different name does a load of like saga series for like older people as well, like old people. I can't remember what the name was.
Old people.
I'm saying this like I would have considered our age old, like 10 years ago. So it could be for our age, guys. I don't even know. This was like 10 years ago when she was working there, so it actually probably could be for like the over 30s.
Oh,
we're saga now! Yay!
Hey, I'm not 30 yet. I've still got a year to go.
Oh, you're the group.
You're the baby. We'll get you soon.
Like Kim. How old is Kim? I think Kim's younger. No? Did I make that up?
No, I think Kim's over 30.
Oh.
Yeah, I think she's same age as us, 32 too.
Yeah, I think Ezzy's the baby.
Day.
Yeah,
I know Data is the baby. But
it is an actual baby.
She's like a girl baby.
She's so cute.
Oh, I love
tune into our Instagram tomorrow, where we're going to be putting up a poll for paranormal and asking, well, first we're going to ask your suggestions, and we're putting up a poll this week. So stay tuned for that. So I think that's all we've got time for. That's the full hour, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for listening if you're listening on our podcast. And we'll be back next month with another podcast episode with paranormal. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.